The Russia-Ukraine war has not only changed Europe, but has also reshaped the global order. This confrontation between the US-led West and Russia is not just limited to the battlefield in Ukraine. It has triggered geopolitical shifts across the world. But who is the real winner? Can the US maintain its position as the world's leading superpower, or are we entering an era of multipolarity? NATO is stronger than ever. Before Russia's invasion of Ukraine, NATO was divided, but the war has brought the alliance closer together. Finland and Sweden joined NATO, expanding the military bloc right up to Russia's borders. Europe has significantly increased its defense spending, with Germany abandoning its post-Cold War military restraint. But the big question remains, can NATO maintain its unity in the long run? The US strengthens its leadership over the West. As Europe was dependent on Russian gas, the US stepped in as the continent's largest energy supplier. The US dollar remains the world's dominant reserve currency despite Russia and China's push for de-dollarization. However, the prolonged war is becoming a financial burden for the US and its allies. Russia is isolated, but still surviving. Western sanctions have hit Russia hard, but its economy has stayed afloat by selling energy to China, India, and neutral nations. The Russian military has suffered heavy losses, but is adapting to prolonged warfare. However, Russia's global influence has weakened significantly, forcing it to rely more on China. Russia's strategic weapons, energy, and nuclear arms. Russia still controls vast oil and gas resources, giving it leverage over global energy markets. Its nuclear arsenal remains a key reason why NATO has avoided direct military intervention in Ukraine. However, a prolonged war of attrition could gradually erode Russia's strategic advantages. China exploits the war to strengthen its power. Beijing has secured cheap Russian energy, giving its economy a major boost. Closer ties between Russia and China have created a geopolitical counterbalance to the West. However, China also faces risks as the US and Europe increase sanctions on Chinese firms linked to Russia. Is the US weakening in Asia? While the US focuses on Ukraine, China has ramped up military pressure on Taiwan. Beijing is closely observing the West's response to Ukraine, drawing lessons for a potential conflict over Taiwan. If war breaks out in Taiwan, the US could find itself trapped in a two-front conflict. A more polarized world. The US and its allies remain dominant, but are increasingly challenged by the Russia-China-Iran axis. Neutral powers like India, Brazil, and Saudi Arabia are playing both sides to maximize their benefits. A multipolar world is gradually taking shape, where no single power can dominate completely. Can the US maintain its superpower status? The US remains the world's leading military, economic, and technological power. However, the prolonged war may weaken domestic support, especially with the upcoming US presidential election. The US-China rivalry will be the key factor shaping the global order in the next decade. Conclusion. What lies ahead? The war in Ukraine is not just a conflict between Moscow and Kiev. It is a battle that will determine the future of the global order. Can the US maintain its global dominance, or are we witnessing the rise of a new multipolar world? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated with the latest geopolitical analysis.